Hi, Linda. Thank you very much. Great to be here virtually, and I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person. The original plan was to do this from New York, where the UN Food System Summit is happening. It turns out that they decided to make the summit entirely virtual, and I traveled back to my home in Vermont last night as a result of our office being closed for HVAC problems. So, coming to you from the landlocked state of Vermont. I can answer that question unequivocally. Yes, yes, yes. Blue and aquatic foods are having their day in the sun this year. Super exciting for all of us who see the importance of blue and aquatic foods being an important part of policy making around the world, not just here in the United States. But before I get to why I say that so unequivocally, answer that so unequivocally, I want to say a little bit about how EDF got to where it's thinking about blue foods in the context of its work to conserve the oceans. When we launched our Global Oceans program a little over 10 years ago, our focus was on restoring and building the economic health of fisheries in some of the most important fishing countries in the world. Over the course of the work that we've done over the last 10 years, couple of the things that really stood out for us as lessons that we needed to learn, and we're hearing from both fishing communities, academics in the regions where we worked, as well as from governments, was number one, climate change was having an impact on their fisheries, and they wanted to know what to do about it. And secondly, we began to understand and learn that just looking at the economic value of a per pound of fish sold in the market, either domestically or on the export market, was an oversimplified way of understanding the real value of aquatic foods for communities that rely on them for their livelihoods as well as their nutritional values. And so we began thinking about how we could reimagine our role in promoting the true value of fish and aquatic foods in the context of the way that policymakers make decisions about management of fisheries. So that's sort of a background for why EDF is here in this blue food space today. Why I think unequivocally blue foods are having their moment in the sun. Let's start with the awarding of Dr. Shakuntala Tilsted's World Food Prize earlier this year. The first time someone who's focused on nutrition and aquatic foods has been recognized by the World Food Prize Foundation. Incredibly inspiring story that she has. If you haven't read about her or if you haven't met her, go to the World Food Prize Foundation and just watch the YouTube video about her research. It's absolutely, it's amazing stuff that she's done and continues to do. So that's one. Number two, I think you all heard the Blue Food Assessment came out last week. That's been a multi-year effort by a group of scientists led by Stanford University, the EAT Forum, and Friends of Ocean Action. Over 100 scientists from around the world bringing together some of the most important research papers to date that have been published in journal Nature just beginning last week, and there's more to come. I can't begin to summarize all the important findings that these papers provide, but if you go to bluefood.earth, you can find out more about those papers. So now getting to the UN Food Systems Summit. So this is the first time a UN process as far as I know, has recognized aquatic foods as a part of the global food system conversation. And this is the first time in my experience of working with UN agencies over the last 20 plus years that civil society organizations, academics, users and producers of food have been involved in helping to design the set of solutions that the member states meeting today in New York will adopt. And so before I get to what that's about, I wanted to show a 1-minute video that we and our partners put together to help explain to policymakers in a very short video, 1 minute, 15 seconds, why blue and aquatic foods should be considered as part of the Food Systems Summit. So hopefully Brandon was ready to roll the video.
The power of the ocean is undeniable, and so is its promise.
Laut adalah tempat kami mencari nafkah, dan di lautlah tempat kami berusaha.
La pesca para nosotros es lo más importante que hay.
And food from the sea can provide even more than jobs and income for fishers and fish workers. Aquatic foods can help us tackle hunger, malnutrition, poverty, and climate change. meeting many of the world's sustainable development goals. Nearly 1 in 5 people rely on fish for animal protein globally. The superfood provides essential micronutrients for those who eat it. And by supporting sustainable small-scale fisheries and fish farming, the ocean can be a growing source of nutrition for the world. So as world leaders look to ensure our global food system can meet growing demands while being resilient to climate change, it is time to invest in aquatic foods. Because the ocean can help power us today and in the future.
Great. So, what happened was that
The power of the ocean.
the summit invited civil society organizations and others to actually design what the solutions might be. So Dr. Tilstead, Jim Leap from Stanford University, Christian Telecki, and myself were invited to co-chair what they called is a blue food cluster discussion, in which we had member states, UN agencies, and others from around the world participating in a discussion about what some of the most important issues should be addressed in the context of the summit today. That cluster group has transitioned into what they're now calling an action coalition. They're announcing a little more than half a dozen today at the summit. And it's really amazing to think that after years and years of aquatic foods being ignored in the global food security dialogue, that aquatic foods are going to be one of a very small number of global coalitions that are being launched today. So we're really proud to see that happening. Dr. Tilstead's leadership has been really instrumental in making that happen. I'm going to ask at the end of my talk to put up a set of social media links that, so the United States agreed to be part of the supporting this coalition. We're going to probably take the next 3 to 6 months to figure out exactly what the action coalition is going to be. Currently, the government of Iceland, through their UN ambassador Hafstein, has agreed to chair the coalition until they appoint formal chairs once the coalition is launched. If it's something that you're interested in participating in, you can certainly get in touch with me. It's a global coalition, and we're really hoping that the U.S. will continue to stay involved. So I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of encouragement to the U.S. by tweeting and retweeting the information that we're going to put up on the screen in a moment, so that the U.S. government sees the support that's coming from the United States and really the thought leaders in the room and in the virtual room today that the Seafood Nutrition Partnership pulls together every year in this science symposium. And I guess I would be remiss without mentioning that because I'm not a scientist, but I have incredible colleagues who are scientists. Dr. Doug Rader, Dr. Rod Fujita, and Dr. Kristen Klessner were really instrumental in getting EDF to think about a new way of looking at our work to conserve the oceans through climate change resilience, as well as food and nutrition as an important part of the way we think about our work. So a shout out to those wonderful colleagues of mine. And I just want to say thank you so much to the Seafood Nutrition Partnership. You folks are doing really important work, and imagine if we had an organization like the Seafood Nutrition Partnership in many other countries around the world. It would be super important to all our interest in seeing freshwater, inland waters, and ocean-based aquatic foods promoted as an important part of the policy debate around food, nutrition, climate change, and saving our planet and meeting the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030. So with that, Linda, I'll just say thank you very much, and great to be here virtually.
Great. Thank you, Tom, so much for being with us. Let's give him a round of applause.